Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. Support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys. Head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Who the hell am I?
I'm a construction worker. I have to go to the bathroom. I said, be right back.
I'm a cop, you idiot!
Pastor.
Oh, I'm Detective John Kimball.
Who is your daddy?
Answer the question!
And what does he do?
Put that cookie down! Now!
Tom.
Dave.
This is no game.
No.
Standing in the dark, I swear I heard you calling my name. And I knew things had changed.
Roll the dice! Those restless hearts!
Oh, beautiful. It's so good. It's one of my favorite songs of this era.
You got the right spot! Something like that.
Yeah. It's so perfect.
I fucking love that song!
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Honestly, we could have done the entire podcast series about that song.
It's
really,
so
it was all
epic.
just building up to us being able to talk about Restless Hearts.
Yeah. It's the perfect, because it's just like the perfect 80s movie ending song where it's like, oh yeah, this was a romance the whole time. And it's like, wait, was it?
Like, I think I had read, they're also very modular. Like, I think I'd read that Restless Hearts was originally supposed to be in a different movie, and it wound up in this movie. It's like
perfect.
One of the I think it was going to be in Rocky 4 or something.
Oh, that's perfect.
Like, yeah, and like that kind of stuff happens all the time.
Yeah,
or at least it did around this time with like Schwarzenegger and Stallone movies, where they would have this awesome pop song recorded. Like, all right, so it's gonna go in this movie. Nah, I feel like it's gonna go better in this movie. All right, we'll just shuffle it over to Running Man. Has nothing to do with the Running Man.
Well, but the line is, I'm gonna lose this restless heart running away with you. So running away. See?
Mm-hmm.
See, Tom? It's perfect. This is Into the Universe, by the way.
Into the Mr. Universe.
Mr. Universe.
Yeah.
This is a podcast. We're in a podcast right now.
We are within a podcast, Dave. You and I, we're inside it. We're piloting this podcast.
This is
we're two running men, if you will.
Yeah, that's exactly what we are. We
Yep.
slid down the inappropriate, weird fucking sled.
Yeah, in our equally inappropriate yellow body condoms.
Yep, and now we're just in a very confusing map.
Yeah,
that's like indoors but not, and also has a radio.
Listen, there's
satellite.
some indoor structures.
Yeah. Listen, folks. Hi, welcome.
Hello.
It's a podcast where we're going through Arnold Schwarzenegger films. We're exploring each of these many universes of Schwarzenegger and talking about the differences between them. And then, I don't know, we'll declare a winner. This is brought to you by Norm from Cheers, our producer.
Thank you so
much. Yeah.
This is a show we might have just done anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And as you guys have figured out, we're at 1987's The Running Man, same year as Predator, but came out later.
Yeah.
Directed by Starsky.
Big year for old Arnold.
Yeah. No, this is directed by Paul Mitchell Glazer, Starsky from Starsky and Hutch.
Sure.
That is what he is most known for.
You can detect
He also
it a
did
little bit.
Kazam. Yeah, he also did Kazam, The Cutting Edge.
Yeah, those all have that real Starsky fingerprints to them.
Yep. And it was written by Die Hard. D'Souza.
D'Souza?
Yeah. Writer of Commando, another Schwarzenegger.
Yep.
Yeah. Tomb Raider.
Sure.
Judge Dredd.
Dave, listen, we don't need to do this all the time.
I think it's interesting.
It is a little interesting. But also Street Fighter the movie.
Yeah.
Written
he did that
and
as well.
directed by, I believe. But anyway.
Yeah.
That's
so
neither
we're gonna
here
go,
nor there.
Yeah, we're going to go through the plot, and then we're going to talk about, we're going to have a section, technically not Arnold, where we talk about, Arnold, the character. How is he different? Then we have Definitely Not Arnold, where we talk about the side characters.
Oh, man. Like Predator, this is a real buffet of fucking freaks running around in this movie. It's so great.
We're gonna decide the most Arnold moment, and then we have to rate it. And what's our rating system again, Tom? Remind me.
Like 1 to 97 restless hearts, I think.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
As
Between 1 and
always
97 restless hearts. That's, you guys know, if you've been listening to the show for this long, it's our tried and true metric for rating each movie. It's 1 to 97 restless hearts.
Yeah.
Never been any different?
No. Never changes.
It's never changed. It's always been that. So I'm surprised you forgot. But it's all right. I'm here to remind you.
There's some first-timers who might not know. So it's the year 2017.
Sure.
The world economy has collapsed.
Why not?
Natural resources, and oil are in short supply. A police state divided into paramilitary zones. Television is controlled by the state, and a sadistic game show called The Running Man has become the most popular program in history. All art, music, and communications are censored. No dissent is tolerated, and yet a small resistance movement has managed to survive underground. When high-tech gladiators are not enough to suppress the people's yearning for freedom, more direct methods become necessary. I love that this entire world is held together by a single dystopian gladiator game show.
They always are. It's Hunger Games. It's always like one, the Battle Royale thing and Battle Royale. It's always one game or attraction or something that's like inexplicably holding this whole dystopia together. It's like, really? People are so into this gladiator TV show that they're just fine with the dystopia, huh? Okay.
Yeah, it's so silly that
it's extremely. We also never really get to see what the dystopia is like. We don't really see the dystopia. We just the only dystopian aspect we see is the fact that this TV network kind of seems to call the shots, or at least have carte blanche to do whatever it wants.
Getting the glue that holds together society. That's a bad government. Mm-hmm. I here's what I will say they do right is so they show the slums. And the food riots, right? The smart thing they do is they show like the middle class when he goes to his brother's apartment and they're at the airport and stuff. Like you do get a sense of like there are people because it's one of those things like the Hunger Games always bothered me because it was like how many districts and only one of them is actually happy, and it's like how is this sustainable? Like in order for a dystopian situation to be sustainable, I imagine there has to be like a large group of people who are satisfied with their lives, and it seems like they show that a little bit here. Like it's not just miles of slums. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so there's
normally they do focus on like extreme poverty and dystopian movies, so you tend to get stuck in where we're stuck in, where it's like, really, this TV show is enough to keep everyone in line, huh? So it is a smart idea to show the middle class, where everybody that is just sort of like okay with going with it is a smart idea.
Yeah, I think that's a smart idea with most dystopian stories in general. Some of them just fucking forget to do, and this doesn't do that much, but it does enough for me to make the leap of like, okay, there's enough people who like are satisfied with this world that's why nothing has changed, I guess. Still not sure why it all hinges on a game show, but this of course has all of the beautiful things that 80s 90s future movies have. Takes place in the past for us. Mm-hmm. It's got big bulky technology, big old clacking keyboards, computer voices saying stuff, brutalist architecture, trash can fires, like outdated, like videotapes. She has videotapes, regular TVs, shitty computer graphics that are like 3D. It's so aesthetically perfect. Mm-hmm. I love it, Tom.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. We should live there. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
that's the vibe I'm picking up from you. Is that we should live there?
I would absolutely write episodes of Climbing for $. That is a smart dystopian show.
It's a really great show. I would put that show on now. And I think we've done shows like that. That's the funniest thing of watching The Running Man and watching like RoboCop, and what their idea of dystopian television is pretty much just what TV is now.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like kind of, it's not, I mean, it's obviously it's not like that wild, because these were satirical. So that when you're satirizing something, you're taking a thing that as it exists now and then extrapolating it to its most absurd conclusion. So it's like,
right.
It's not entirely crazy that they would come up with television that's very, very close to what we're actually watching in the future. But
oh, yeah.
It stings a little bit, and it should. That like climbing for $. It's like, yeah, we have shows like that.
Yeah, it's always a bummer watching this where they were like, the world is 2017, the economy has gotten worse, climate change has taken effect, and it's like, fuck, man. Like, yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, in this, the president has an agent, and guess what? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bleak.
It's real bleak. It's real bleak.
Yeah. That these cheesy fucking 80s futuristic movies are.
Can you imagine if like, I'm moving to RoboCop now, but it's like RoboCop, it posits, it's like, can you imagine a world where like they advertise premium healthcare and performance healthcare?
Right.
And it's like, yes, I can. It's like, can you imagine a future where there's a healthcare credit card? I'm like, yes, I can. I have one.
Yeah.
I'm currently paying it off.
Police force.
A militarized police force, yeah.
No shit.
Oh, really? Huh. What would that be like?
Yeah.
Anyway. So Arnold starts out as Ben Richards, the butcher of Bakersfield.
Yep.
Which is where I used to live.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, so the idea is that Bakersfield is a big agricultural place for California. So that's the idea. Like, that's why they pinpointed him in such a...
Also, it rhymes.
Yeah.
Or not rhymes,
alliterative.
but you know what I mean. Alliterative, yeah.
So that's why they pinpoint such a weirdly specific city in California. And it's like they're rising up because there's not enough food. And it's like, buddy, I lived in Bakersfield for a year, like, last year. Yeah, that's kind of the case.
Right.
It is sort of a blasted cauldron out there now. Fucking 120 degrees in the sun.
No, it's not a happy place.
Like, yeah. It's there are probably gonna be some food riots in Bakersfield.
Yeah. Which they depict it like a city.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's
no
not
part
that.
of it. Yeah, it's like they were showing us like, well, maybe this is future Bakersfield, but it sure looks a lot like 1980s Los Angeles.
Yeah. Most of this does.
Yeah, it's funny how often that happens.
Yeah.
How so many 80s dystopias just look like downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Like, lit funny.
Yeah.
Like, that's
just
pretty
a
much
little
all they
darker.
do.
So, yeah, Ben Richards is ordered to fire on all these people, and he does not. So they subdue him, and then they frame him for firing on the people, but they were going to, like, so I don't think this is a plot hole or anything. I was just, was the plan to throw him under the bus either way? Like, I assume they don't fire on crowds of innocent people that often.
Apparently they do. This opening scene
so
makes no sense.
then.
Because, yeah, they have him fly out there, and he's the pilot, and they're like, open fire on these citizens. Like, no. But he's, like, surprised. So there's a couple of things that I...
Right,
that
it's like, what were you going there
right,
to
like,
do?
what did you think? Like, you've been in this military with this government for a while now. Surely this is not the first civilian uprising you've had to suppress. What did you think you were going out there to do? You're flying a gunship out there. Like, you're not dropping food. You're not dropping rations from this helicopter. You've got a guy sitting on a machine gun in this helicopter.
Right. And then, again, they pin it on him. I guess to me that says they've really handled propaganda, right? Like, people just don't know that they regularly
that's the
do
idea.
this.
And that's what the movie's going for. The movie's really concerned with the propaganda element of dystopias.
Yeah.
Which
It's a world
obviously
of deep...
it's talking about TV, so yeah, of course.
Yeah. I had a moment where I was like, when they throw together the fake murder video near the end with Jesse Ventura, I was like, man, you couldn't trust anything in this universe with all these, deep fakes.
Deep fakes. Yep.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's that where they can like really quickly throw together these propagandas, and I guess people just haven't realized that. This is a world where people are kind of naive about media.
Extremely so. But I mean, is it any different than they are now? They're just naive in a different direction.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, where it's like
Man, what a
everyone is
bummer.
lying to us but Fox News. Really?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's think about that for a second. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just in the opposite direction.
It's true. Yeah, man, that's bleak.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
it's real fucking bleak.
Yeah.
I also, just real quick, I love that you just keep calling them propagandas.
Propagandas.
They've got running around there with their propagandas. They're throwing
doing
the
the
propagandas
propagandas.
all over town. You've seen the propagandas.
Yeah. They are.
Yeah.
It works.
They got a collection of it. Just throwing his propagandas up on every street corner. Like we don't know what's really going on with all these propagandas.
So Ben Richards goes to a work camp with explodey heads. Explodey head
with
work camp.
a king. We keep seeing him. We're going to continue to see him. Thomas Rosales Jr.
Which one is that?
He's the guy who plays Latino henchman in like every 80s movie.
Oh,
He's the guy who initially runs off and gets his head blown up.
Oh, yeah. That guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't last long.
He's been in so many movies that we've covered on various podcasts. He's
What a
also
hero.
in Briscoe County Jr.
Fuck yeah, of course he is.
Yeah.
They successfully hack the thing and they break out of the prison. They go and join the revolutionaries. Arnold doesn't want any of that.
He wants to go see
he's
his
sort of-
brother.
Yeah, he's like starts as like a cynic, right? Where he's like nothing's gonna
It
change.
kind of it makes sense because he was on the inside. He was a military guy, so he's like
he's a cop.
Yeah, why bother? We just it's all stupid. We might as well just be a policeman and put the propagandas up, so then they get nice apartment. Like he really doesn't see the point in joining the resistance.
I have the exact line.
Okay, good. Because
which I was gonna-
believe it or not, I was ad-libbing.
Yeah. I was gonna save it for the next section, but he says the revolutionary guy says perhaps he's seen too much. Arnold says, I've seen too much. All I've seen is a bunch of low foreheads who think they can change the world with dreams and talk. It's too late for that. If you're not ready to act, give me a break and shut up. It should be noted that he needs them at this moment to not have his head exploded. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And
Also,
so,
they're all in prison for going against the government. So it's like I get your sentiment. Like he's like, I'm tired of. He's basically saying he's tired of collectivism. He's like, if you're gonna be a revolution. Stop talking about it. It's like, sure, that's a fair point, but you're saying that to two revolutionaries who are currently in prison with you for going against the government.
Who've broken out of prison.
Oh, right. This is when they break out. Right?
Yeah, this is when the guy is literally there he's in the seat to have his head explodey collar taken off. And it's like, don't insult this
Oh, wait,
man.
this is later when they meet Mick Fleetwood?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally Mick Fleetwood in old man makeup.
Yeah, that's weird, huh?
And I think Dweezil Zappa is one of his... Dweezil or
Jesus.
Ahmet. Dweezil or Ahmet is one of his resistance underlings.
That's real weird.
There's a lot... There's like randomly fucking Mick Fleetwood and another... the son of another notable musician in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Sure. Maybe Starsky's
Running
just
Man.
really into them, yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
He
I
bre- he-
think Mick Fleetwood is literally playing Mick Fleetwood because his name in the movie is Mick, and I think they refer to like his past career of being like an incendiary person.
For real?
I think so. Like his name in the film is Mick, I believe.
So here, I'm looking at the IMDb. I don't know if this makes a difference. He's credited as Mick, spelled M-I-C, where Mick Fleetwood is M-I-C-K.
I don't think it matters, Dave.
I don't think. Do you
I
think
think-
Mick Fleetwood playing him like the idea is that he like dropped the K so people didn't know he was Mick Fleetwood?
Maybe, or maybe he just
Yeah.
lost it in the revolution and in the years in between.
Right, they
Rumors
outlawed
and this
Ks.
dystopia, like just fighting through the wastelands, the post-apocalypse. He lost that K. But yeah, it's like when Tom Petty shows up in The Postman as Tom Petty.
Right. That's fucking weird.
It's also kind of awesome.
Yeah. So he takes the disguise of a construction worker, so he doesn't seem out of place. Just
Honestly,
walking around with that fucking hard hat.
He has about 3 disguises he can wear in public, and it's lumberjack, construction worker, and fireman.
Yeah, you're
Those
not
are the
wrong.
only. This is the only 3 disguises Arnold Schwarzenegger can wear in public.
You're right. It's the most he can blend in.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. He goes to his brother's house.
You're gonna put a T-shirt on him? No. Like, what happens when he puts on the Tommy Bahama shirt at the airport? They spot him immediately.
Yeah, he kidnaps a lady in her own home because she's in his
brother's old apartment.
He wants to get on a plane. He basically uses her as a hostage, and then they catch him at the airport, and he is thrown into the Running Man because Richard Dawson sees it.
Richard Dawson
sees as Damon Killian, and so you know the film. He goes. It's a series of fucking weirdos that he has to fight.
Yeah, it's American Gladiators to the death. You guys.
Yeah, and he proves his innocence, and the movie abruptly ends as Richard Dawson gets fucking hurled into a sign
One
and
of
dies.
the greatest villain deaths in any Arnold movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which, again, should probably mention this next section, but he says drop dead, and he says I don't do requests. Not the most badass line.
No, but it's glib.
Yeah, and then he hurls him into the billboard. And he says, "Well, that hit the spot." It's like, oh man,
yeah,
not your best lines, but it's fine.
Yeah, which is funny because this movie is full of some of his best ones. Like this and Commando are like S tier in terms of Arnold one-liners. But then there's also some where it's like, yeah, like that hit the spot. It's like, what's that a reference to? Like,
is that a pun? What
You're not like an archer, or so you weren't like taking a sip of 7-Up when you said that. Like,
yeah,
they're just sort of like kind of puns that don't really relate too much to anything that's happening.
Yeah,
like I don't do requests. Were you a DJ? Like what? Why would you say that?
Yeah, I don't know what it means. It's one of those. We'll talk about in the next section. Like Arnold always has these one-liners, and they sometimes are appropriate, and they sometimes aren't. I would argue they're not too appropriate in this context, but it's fine.
They are more.
There was
a
line I noticed. Yeah, there was a line I noticed for the first time in this that I really like.
Oh, go ahead.
Which was the character. Shit, what's her name?
It's Maria Conchita Amber, that's her name. Okay.
Amber Mendez says, we should have taken that trip to Hawaii. And he says, I had the shirt for it, but you fucked it up. And I think that's a cute line.
It is. Yeah. He says it like under his breath at the end of a scene. So it's easy to miss it, but it's a fucking great line.
Yeah, that's a really solid line.
Yeah, you fucked that up.
He did. He had the shirt for it.
And it's really funny.
Yeah. That was a really good line.
Yeah.
They blow him up. They and then fucking Restless Heart plays. The credits go, and you're like, shit. I guess that's the movie.
And he shares meaningful romantic looks with both Amber and Sven Olsen.
We'll talk about Sven.
Yeah, we'll talk about Sven. I mean, I think they talked about this on How Did This Get Made, but there's like a fan theory that Sven is his brother. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, fucking LaFours.
Yeah, LaFours.
Yeah,
he's in Conan as well. I think he's one of Arnold's like training partners. I think
that checks out
for bodybuilding. So he shows up in a lot of his movies.
We'll talk about his arc. He has quite the arc.
Yeah.
But first, are any other thoughts about the movie, or should we get into?
I mean, this movie fucks. It fucks hard, Dave.
Yeah, this movie fucks hard.
We haven't talked about it fucks well.
Yeah, we haven't talked about what we think of it, but it's like water. It's like, I just, it's life.
It's one of those movies, like Commando. I'll watch it whenever it's on. It's like a cartoon. It's just a blast from start to finish. It's not super problematic, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's mostly just batshit.
It's mostly just out of its goddamn gourd.
Yeah. Based off, nice. I guess, a Stephen King book, sort of.
Sort of. It's one of the Bachman books. It's very, very different. It's so different that it's barely even worth comparing the two.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah.
But it all right. Well, let's get into technically not Arnold.
Yeah.
Because what I want to say is this is part of his streak of appearing in high concept sci-fi action. Like Arnold, we talked about it with Predator. During this era, he's not making like, okay, so I'm on a boat and there's terrorists and I kill them all.
No, he did. Like through none of the 80s did he make that movie, really. It's like, like Raw Deal, basically, and Red Heat, I guess, are the closest you can get to those. But even Red Heat's a little outside the box. But
it's really what set him apart. All the way to Hercules in New York, where he takes these roles that are like, this isn't just like
he's like a genre
some guy.
Yeah, and it's not action that's the genre. It's like, I mean, it's always action's always obviously a component of it, but it's always, like we were saying, it's always these high concept sci-fi or like these weird fantasy movies. He picks interesting movies.
Yes, this is the anti-action. This is like most. I feel like most actions are like very often like pro cop, pro authority, and this is the opposite. This is like dystopian class struggles. It's just a very interesting idea.
And Predator was that too. Because Predator is very don't trust the government. Like, he and his team are outsiders. They get screwed over by Dylan and the CIA.
Right.
It's about, like, there's a whole element of, they sent us down here to do one thing, but it's actually something else. Yeah. And they, like, befriend one of the gorillas that they were supposed to be. Like, she becomes a valuable member of the team. It's, like, it's surprisingly subversive for the action genre in the Reagan 80s to be this, like... Yeah, kind of fuck the government and the military, right? Yeah, they kind of suck.
Yeah. This is about a cop getting radicalized.
Yes! It's about a cop getting radicalized. Welcome
crazy.
To the resistance, Ben Richards.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. We also get a very rare type of Arnold, which is Beard Arnold.
Beard Arnold is so good, too.
I know. He has like this scraggly little piece of shit beard when he's a prisoner. And then his mugshot, he has a mustache. He knows that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
We don't get too many variations of facial hair Arnold in the 80s. So you got to cherish these small oases when you can.
When you get them, yeah, for sure.
Just bend your lips to its cool waters.
Yep.
The cool waters of Arnold's beard.
Yum, 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 yum.
Oh man!
Drink from that beard. Suckle the dew from that beard.
Oh man.
What do you think of him as a character? He comes off like he's supposed to be cynical. He comes off as weirdly smug. And again, he's a cop.
He's glib. This is. I think this is. As interesting this movie is, and as unique as it is as a premise, and how delightfully fun and out of its mind it is, his character in this is probably the closest we get to this in this period to Arnold just playing Arnold.
Yeah,
it's not much of a character. He's just.
It doesn't feel like it fits.
Right. This feels like the performance that's most affected by Arnold the actor, like his persona and his image, because he's just being glib, fun Arnold in this. Like, he's just doing the one-liners. He's kind of like, I think we mentioned this in the Commando episode, where Commando is like self-parody. Yeah. But he hadn't done those movies yet. So he was like, he was parodying a career that he himself didn't really have yet. And so like this the performance in this movie is like one of the performances that Commando would be parodying.
Yeah, you're right. And I would say in general, like a movie like this, I would much like, again, love this movie. Mm-hmm. But in terms of trying, like if this was being made at the time, right? And if I was in charge of it, I would think of someone like Harrison Ford. Like someone who's not an action person playing this line. Like, because he's supposed to be a helicopter pilot, so he doesn't have to be that fit. Mm-hmm. And then he should be on the run. He should be desperate. He should be more. He should like when he's breaking out of the prison. He picks a guy up and says, "Give you a lift," and throws him. First of all, not very creative of a line.
No,
but also it's like he shouldn't be joking. He should be desperately when he's like hanging out with the revolutionaries, and he's just like, "There's my ride," and like it's just like completely and utterly.
There's two other. I feel like there's two other ways you could go with this.
Right.
So with that tone, like the Arnold version is the fun version where it's just glib one-liners, tongue-in-cheek. You could do the serious version of that character, which I feel like would be Kurt Russell.
Ooh, yeah, Kurt Russell.
Like, because you can see Snake Plissken in this situation because he's always in this situation. He's like, I busted out. I'm not really interested in any of your resistance or whatever, but fine, I'll do it.
Snake Plissken has won 5 Running Mans.
Yeah.
We never saw those movies.
He has killed many Slayers. He has a necklace of their ears.
Yeah.
The other version would be something like Daniel Radcliffe in Guns Akimbo. And I think that's what you're talking about, like a person who is out of their depth and kind of like desperate and scared.
Right. At no point does Arnold seem like he's in trouble.
No, he's never in trouble.
Right, and the whole setup of this movie should be that. The best dystopian films are the ones where like they're barely getting by, which is again kind of a problem with some of the Hunger Games, I would say. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like where that series went, but like it's another one where it's like this character has no trouble really at any point. So like I don't know, it's kind of the same deal where it's like he just topples this government. He just fucking bulldozes them.
Yeah, it all depends on what tone you want. And I think this movie, whatever caused them, whatever was the biggest catalyst that made them go with the goofball, over the top, just crazy ass action movie that's very tongue in cheek. They had to do this first. Like this version of this character where he's like not really a character. He's just Arnold doing one-liners and being glib.
Yeah.
That's the tone they went with.
You're right. And they nail it. Yeah. But it is very funny for like, if you told me about this plot, I would have not assumed you'd go with this tone. Like the third act, the oh no, we're in trouble is that Arnold is defeated on a fake video. Mm-hmm. Like that's it. That's as much struggle as he has to deal with in this film.
None of the Slayers give him more than like 30 seconds of trouble.
Right. Like some of them are just detonated immediately.
Yeah.
And literally. Yeah. Yep. So it again, wonderful film, but I can see being, I don't know, Stephen King and being like, what the fuck did you do? What did you do to my story?
The book is much more like what you're talking about, and it's like a contest that takes place across the entire country.
Right.
And anyone can hunt him, so anyone can kill him. So there's like that fun. Additional. It's much more of like a paranoid, desperate guy on the run. This is Arnold grabbing people by the balls and saying, "I don't know."
Ice to see.
Nutcracker sweet.
Nice.
Nutcracker sweet dreams.
I would say so. The most complex thing his character does in this is not kill Dynamo, because I do feel like his character in Predator, Commando, or Conan would have murdered.
Yes.
Dynamo. So that is
question,
the most complex he gets. Yeah, is ruining the.
It's like the one identifiable trait that he has is one. He has like this detached irony. So that's a little bit interesting. Like it's an interesting idea for like a character to come from the military or the police and be like, look, I know it's fucked, but like, it's pointless to try to fight him, so why not just be like a low-level grunt like I am, and then kind of getting brought around on that. That's not a bad idea. But like the one through line that he has is not wanting to kill defenseless people. So it's like, he doesn't want to shoot at the protesters in the beginning. It's like, I'm not going to fire on defenseless people. And then Dynamo is like flipped over in his stupid go-kart and he can't get out. Yeah. He's like, I'm not going to kill this guy. He's stuck.
Dynamo. Oh my fucking God.
Like a light, bright rapist.
Yep. That is what he is.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to get into that? Into those side characters? Do we have... He basically... It's what you said. It's not terribly complex. It's just Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
In this situation.
Yeah,
which,
and
again,
then like
makes
that...
for...
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, it just makes for a great film that I would say is technically a failure in terms of the plot that it sets out. Like its mission statement, like
oh yeah,
it's not but it's for an Arnold film, it's fucking glorious. I love it.
Yeah, it's just trying to be a fun action movie. So the character is nothing. He has no arc. Like he just sort of decides to join the resistance because he's the good guy.
Yeah, it's the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas of Schwarzenegger films, which is that it's a failure technically, but created in a very iconic thing.
Yeah.
That is mostly just Arnold took over the film, I would say.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. Well, all right. Definitely not Arnold.
Listen, there are so many ghouls in this film.
I want to
so
start
many
with the
lovable
dystopian
ghouls.
The dystopian guard that sounds like fucking Cabal. Like he's like, get out of here.
Yeah.
There's so many ghouls. I have to do at the top of this shout out to Kurt Fuller.
Oh hell yeah! He's barely in it.
Doing what he does best, though. Yeah. Slimy corporate.
I think
Kurt
it's
Fuller.
one of his first movies.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And he knew what he was. He knew what he needed to be.
Yeah. I mean, like not right after, but soon after this, he does No Holds Barred.
Thank God. And thank God.
Yeah. The world's a better place for it.
Yeah. One of the best performances ever. Obviously Richard Dawson as Damon
Richard
Killian.
Dawson is an inspired piece of casting, like solid stunt casting. Obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but Richard Dawson, if you don't know, you're too young to remember, was the host of Family Feud for many, many years.
The thing is, he was before my time, and so I mostly know him as the Running Man villain.
Right.
Like, obviously, I knew who he was, but yeah, this is the Dawson I grew up with.
Yeah, he's a game show host, and he's like, more than that, he was like the game show host for a while. He was like the Johnny Carson of game show hosts for a while.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah, it's like Trebek.
Like what Trebek is now.
Yeah.
He sort of was then.
Right. It's like if Trebek was the villain in John Wick.
Yes.
It's like, fuck yeah. He's perfect. Firing that guy mopping the floor.
Yeah.
His name is Damon Killian.
Damon Killian. He's got... And it's just a thing that Richard Dawson himself does, but he always has his pinky raised.
Yep.
And it's a perfect affectation for this character.
They knew to basically just make him him.
Yeah. He's just playing an asshole version of himself.
Yeah.
I love that he was an asshole. I don't know, but still. It's perfect.
I love that he treats all the fucking running men like horses.
Yeah.
Talks about their beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would argue he's not wrong, because Arnold is caught like a horse at the airport.
Yeah, they have to chase him down the tarmac. It is like a horse escape from an airplane.
Running. Yeah. They net him. They throw a net on him. That is a horse. That is a horse catch.
It's just a loose horse on the fucking tarmac,
just galloping, freaking out,
just sprinting, eyes wide with confusion and terror.
Whenever Arnold travels, you have to trank him because he'll freak out. And, he'll kick the driver.
You have to transport him like a horse. You have to have a long cab, and he has to just stand up in the back.
Yeah, I got to put blinders.
Yeah. So he doesn't know he's moving.
But yeah, Richard Dawson, man, absolutely killing it.
He's incredible. Yeah, he's great.
Flirting with all the old ladies, being Richard Dawson.
That's
there's
what he
of
did.
course
He famously would go over and smooch the old ladies on.
Yep,
Family
tongue and all.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Freedom.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura as Captain Freedom,
who has one of the weirdest arcs.
Captain, no, I get it. Captain Freedom, he's of those.
Great.
Yeah, he's a guy that sort of paid his dues. Like he's like, look, I did. He's like,
right.
I did the Slayer thing. He's like the greatest Slayer, and now he's a retired sports guy, so he's doing commentating now. And so at the end,
I love that
when
he's
they're,
like
go ahead.
He's in it for like the sport of it all too.
Yeah. I mean, he was a slayer. I get it.
Yeah.
But like at the end, when they're like, "You got to get in there and fight him," he's like, "Fuck that! I'm not doing that."
And then he just quits.
I did my time.
Yeah, it's such a great because it's subversive.
Yeah,
because you're expecting obviously he's going to be the final boss, and he's just like, nah,
and he just wasn't. Yeah,
yeah. He's just like, I'm not gonna wear all this shit. This stuff is garbage.
Yeah. I
I
wonder how much of that was like Jesse Ventura's like real life libertarianism. It's like,
yeah.
Now you see, I wouldn't get in there with all this media culture because I've been in it for a long time, MacMan, and let me tell you.
God, I hope.
Yeah. But it is that has always. It still surprises me. Like I've seen this movie 30 times easily.
Right.
But like
Every
every
time I
time when
forget.
it gets to Captain Freedom, it still really sticks out as like what a weird choice for this movie to make. To just have
Right.
Captain Freedom be like, you know what? Nah.
It's
I'm not gonna fight him.
Incredible. Yeah, like whenever I watch his fucking amazing workout video that I want, I always think, oh yeah, this is the foreshadowing of the final boss. Like, yeah, I always forget.
And I'm sure there's something in
So
there.
weird.
I think that relates somewhat to the theme if you want to do a little bit of the movie's work for it, because he's sort of like Ben Richards in that he was a dude that saw that it was futile to try to resist, so just tried to get by as best as he could, working at like mid-level for the bad guys. But then when push comes to shove, it's like, no, he doesn't act
Right.
like this. He doesn't believe in any of this. It's like, oh,
Right.
I don't believe in anything. I'm just trying to get by.
Yeah, they definitely do this thing where they, again, building your entire dystopian government off of a game show.
Yeah.
The moment anybody pushes it a little bit, everybody just, all the dominoes fall. And that's
Yeah.
what Sven is as well. I love Sven's arc because he just gets really insulted by that steroids comment. And then later he's like, Sven, step in. He goes, I got to score some steroids. And also leaves. It's just, I love that idea of there's like muscle man solidarity.
Yeah, they're buff dudes.
Yeah, they're just like, you know
boys.
what?
Couple of buff
We're
boys
not
together.
just horses.
Yeah, we're not just a couple of meatheads here to punch each other because you say go.
Yeah.
That steroids comment really offended me.
Yeah.
You
That-
may fight
that-
Ben Richards, Damon.
Yeah.
Let's see how that works out for you.
It's perfect. Both of them, Captain Freedom and Sven, like these very unexpected arcs. It almost feels like the writer was like, shit, I need to keep this under like 110 pages. What do I do? Like, oh, shit, I got these two characters left. Let's just have them quit.
Right, like two of the most obvious mini bosses in movie history. Like
Yeah.
those two characters in an action movie, clearly you're going to have. It's like Mark Dacascos in John Wick. In John
Yeah.
Wick 3, you're like, well, that's that. He's like Captain Freedom. You're like, well, clearly he's going to have to. This guy's like a fun, charming character. Clearly they're going to have to fight. Nope.
Yep. No,
Not in this movie.
it's like he uses the warp flute from Mario.
Yeah.
Like he just skips them.
right past them both. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so weird, but I love the choice because it's showing that the society is breaking down.
Yeah.
That he's winning their hearts.
He's
doesn't
winning
have
hearts
to
and
beat them
minds,
up.
Dave.
Yep.
Restless hearts and minds.
Yeah, exactly. So we should probably go through. We got Sub-Zero, who is hockey themed,
Now
but also
Plane
he has
Zero.
to smash a. Yep, now Plane Zero. Has to
Killian,
smash a
Sub-Zero,
gong.
now Plane Zero.
Yep. Yeah,
He's got his trap net.
Yeah, he
Sub-Zero's
does.
pretty sweet.
He's pretty fully realized, I would say.
I think he's the most because he has his own themed area too. Like
I would argue him and you're right. Yeah, the themed area is what does it.
he's the only one that has like his own world. Then you got Buzzsaw, who looks like he's about to die at any second. Like Buzzsaw is so pink and so sweaty and so swollen. He looks like a muscular hot dog, and I'm so worried for him.
I'm so constantly worried.
Yeah.
When he begins by lifting the dirt bike above his head, I forgot that that's part of his theme. So I was like, oh, is like weight measured in dirt bikes in this future? But like his whole theme is just loud things.
Yeah, he looks like his
Like-
heart is about to pop.
Yes.
Any second.
Yeah. He is. Yes. God, he looks like he's going to pop like a water balloon.
He's got Duke Nukem hair.
He does. He's got this stupid fucking helmet for his ear protection, which he definitely needs because everything he does
Is loud
chainsaw
as hell.
and dirt bike.
Chainsaw and dirt bikes, yeah.
His line is, "Richards, I love this saw. This saw is a part of me, and I'm going to make it part of you," which is good line. Good line. He knows what he wants.
Yeah, good crazy guy line. Solid Mad Manning. Good Mad Manning.
Yeah. But seriously, like I don't know who lived, like which of these actors have since deceased. I just assume this actor died immediately after making this film.
Yeah, as soon as he rapped.
Yeah, like
He just
it
collapsed.
looks like all right. It looks like he's still with us, which
Good for
again,
him.
very surprising. He was in The Scorpion King.
Oh, well, now obviously we got to watch and look for him.
Yeah,
Hopefully he still has the same little... He's just dressed the same, but it's
Yeah.
the Scorpion King.
but yeah, he's given it his all, and
He's doing his best.
Yeah. Then there's of course Fireball, beautiful hair,
Fucking Jim
simple,
Brown.
Yep, he has a simple, elegant gimmick. Like I do, like you're right. Sub-Zero probably has the clearest, but Fireball, or the most realized. Fireball is like I'm Fireball. I have a fucking flamethrower. Immediately exploded.
Yeah, which is
Not even
funny,
a problem.
because they got these huge dudes, right? Buzzsaw, Sub-Zero, both gigantic dudes. Jim Brown, obviously legendary NFL player.
Yeah.
But he just has like a high top. He's got the Gozer high top and a little flamethrower, and he doesn't ever do like strongman fisticuffs or anything. So it's interesting, interesting choice.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger just comes down like unplugs his fucking backpack. He explodes and he says, "What a hot head!" And that's it.
That's it.
That's it for Fireball.
That's it for Fireball.
Yeah, I think maybe with Captain Freedom, because Jesse Ventura, I know he doesn't like. Well, all right, so he does this in Predator. It seems like Schwarzenegger loves making him take a dive. But it does feel like he got like a little gift where it's like, okay, you get a scene where you kill Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's not real, but you get the scene.
Yeah.
So like he at least gets that.
Yeah.
All these other dipshits just get embarrassed. I mean, Dynamo is probably
fucking rolls his own car.
he gets embarrassed twice.
Yeah.
Biggest dipshit. Fucking
He's and it's I mean I feel, man, this actor, the person who plays Dynamo, I looked him up. He's not an actor. He was just an opera singer, and they're like, well, we want an opera singer, so they got
Yep.
this guy, and it's like,
That's his
boy,
gimmick.
this movie. What a decision to make, because you're sitting there, you're looking at this movie, it's like, I could be in like a cool, fun Arnold movie, but I'm the embarrassing rapist.
yeah. They're like, okay, so first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna have like the best power, right? The best power.
Yeah,
And
he's just
you're
fucking
gonna
raiding.
completely squander
He's
it.
driving around in a go-kart shooting
Yeah.
electricity, but
Yeah.
he immediately fucks up by rolling his own go-kart
Rolling
and
his-
getting stuck.
His Space Mutiny style.
That's like
golf cart.
That's like me playing any like battle royale video game. It's like I get all this cool shit and immediately fuck myself.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like, sweet,
Yeah.
I found this car. Immediately roll the car and explode.
He chases Arnold like up a ramp and rolls the car.
Yeah.
Then he's crying for help like
Yeah.
a little wuss.
Telling them to
Arnold
cut to
doesn't-
commercial.
Yeah, Arnold doesn't even kill him, and then he comes back and tries to rape Amber, and she just lets him have it, and he is electrocuted while pantsless.
Yep,
and
in his embarrassing tighty whities.
yeah. And yes, the character Dynamo has everything coming to him.
Yeah.
The actor, I want to hope the actor saw this and it was like, oh fuck yeah, this is ridiculous.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like, man, what a thing to be known for. It's like
Right.
you're an odious rapist, and your only role in this film is to get completely humiliated twice.
Yeah, incredible.
I mean, somebody's got to play those characters, so more power to Dynamo. But boy,
Oh, yeah.
Dynamo fucking sucks.
Yeah, I always think about these characters. It might be kind of fun for it depends on the actor.
Yeah.
Where it's like you get to play such a piece of shit. Again, Kurt Fuller just killing it in No Holds Barred. You know, where it's like you can really embrace a character like this and be like, I'm going to be the biggest, stupidest piece of shit. Mm-hmm. Or like fucking Death Proof. Fucking Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell in Death Proof.
Yeah, it's just like,
starts crying.
Beautiful.
So good.
Yeah. Those are all the stalkers.
Yeah, we've got his friends, obviously Amber, Maria Conchita Alonso.
Yep.
They have good chemistry. I think she was in she's in Predator 2, right?
I don't know. She's just extremely good in this.
I don't remember if she was ever in anything else with Arnold.
I don't know. She's got great fucking charisma in this movie.
Yeah. She's in Predator 2.
She is in Predator 2. Mm.
Yeah, it doesn't look like she ever worked with Arnold again, which is a shame because
that is a shame.
They have they got good chemistry in this movie, and she's fun.
They really do.
Yaphet Kotto obviously plays one of his friends that breaks out. I'm not sure who Nerdermeyer is, the skinny guy.
Right. He looked somewhat familiar, but it's there's a lot of these
Weiss,
these
that's
guys.
his name,
Weiss. There's a lot of these fucking nerdy looking motherfuckers in movies.
Yep. We already talked about Sven, didn't we?
Oh shit, he was the
right.
mortician. He was the mortician Back to the Future 3. I super remember that. Where he's measuring him for his coffin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, same guy.
Nice job, Weiss.
Yeah. Shout out to her weird work friend. Lucky he didn't kill you too. Or rape you and kill you. Or kill you and then rape you. I mean, a guy like that, what would stop him? It's like, what the fuck, lady?
Yeah, I mean, that was... Yeah.
I just went through a really traumatizing situation.
I think
what are you saying to me?
I think the implication of that scene is that she's telling on herself a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, But yeah, it is very like, all right, you need to pump the brakes, Helen.
Yeah, you need to cool down.
Yeah.
What the absolute fuck is coming out of your mouth? I also wanted to shout out to the guy who has Arnold sign the contract and says, use my back, victim. And then very predictably gets a pen stabbed in his back. And it's like, yeah, that's what happens, man.
Yeah. His like station appointed attorney, I think.
Yeah. We have the 80s Futuristic Dancers, which sex taunt Arnold, which I guess they have to do every time they bring out a new runner.
Yeah, it's the solid gold dancers from Scrooged.
Right.
It's the Fly Girls.
You're right.
Well, we got Sven. We got to talk about Sven. There's a fan theory that he is Ben Richards' brother, who has been, they mentioned his brother got like arrested for reprogramming, and that's why Amber is living in his brother's apartment. So there are people who have suggested that perhaps Sven is his brother, and that's why Sven decides not to fight him at the end, and they share a meaningful look. You have
two boys, Ben and Sven. That's what you name them.
That's true, yeah.
I mean...
And then, obviously, Mick Fleetwood.
Yep, Mick Fleetwood's there.
Mick Fleetwood running around in there.
Huge shout out to the audience. The bloodthirsty old ladies absolutely killing it.
Yeah,
every single old lady.
I really want to know how the home game of the Running Man, like, is it a board game or is it just like a box with a couple of handguns in it?
I hope it's the latter, but I'm guessing it's a board game.
Yeah.
There's that boy's one mean motherfucker, she says about Ben Richards. Leon, who can't decide between Buzzsaw and Dynamo. That actor's also just having the time of his life.
Mm-hmm. Why not get them both?
Being a little real wiener.
Why would you ever? Well, yeah. I'm trying to think of who would ever be like a Dynamo fan.
This guy, Leon, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I'm colored by having seen the movie so many times. But if like Dynamo was just like a character on television and he was just this enormous opera singer wearing a light bright costume driving around a little car electrocuting people, I'd probably have a Dynamo t-shirt.
Yeah, I guess.
Like,
but you're right. It's awesome. Like they'd have to like really curate his character based on what we see of him.
He's got like 9 different handlers,
Yeah.
several PR teams.
Oh man. I ran out of people.
I think that's
To
all. I
mention.
think we covered everybody.
All right. Well, it's time to determine the most Arnold moment.
Holy shit.
I have a-
I mean,
I-
all right,
I
I've
have a
got
d-
mine. Let me hear yours.
All right. Okay. Mine. I'm gonna make a case for it. It's the cigar hanging out of his mouth in multiple scenes. The reason I argue this is that, one, we know Arnold Schwarzenegger himself likes cigars.
Yeah.
Two, him having a cigar actually, I think, goes against the character. Like, shouldn't Killian be the one sucking down big cigars, like big fat cat?
Yeah.
Bad guy.
You're right. It presents. Well, actually,
Like,
I don't know. I agree with
I'm
you.
not saying people can't. I'm not saying people can't smoke cigars. Revolutionaries can smoke cigars. It's just
Castro.
yeah. If you're doing a movie where everything's supposed to be like, so black and white, where they're like, look at the rich bad guy,
Sort
look
of,
at the
remember
poor
his-
working class prisoner. He has a cigar when he gets out of prison, and it just feels like that's something a villain should be doing.
I think it works though, because if you think about it, his arc, as much as there is one, is he gets radicalized. So when he
Right.
first breaks out of prison, he doesn't want anything to do with the resistance. He just wants to kind of like lay low and live his
Smoke
life.
his cigar,
So
yeah.
the first thing he's going to do is grab himself a cigar, got my Hawaiian shirt, I'm fucking rolling. So that it kind of makes sense for his character, even though it is clearly I'm not clear. I am 95% certain it was just a situation. It was like, could I have a cigar in this scene? Of course,
Yeah,
you
and
can
they're
have
like-
whatever you want. I feel like I could. Like, he's walking around, he's being casual. Perhaps Arnold presented this argument about the Ben Richards character. Like, see, he doesn't care about the revolution yet, so he'd go and get himself a cigar, perhaps a Big Mac. He's just out of prison. He's trying to party. He doesn't want to fight the government. So yeah, I think,
it's possible.
It does. I agree with you, but I also feel like it does kind of work for his character.
Yeah, no, you can make that argument. I definitely, it's so fucking Arnold.
Yeah.
What's your moment?
It is right. It is very close to having Ben Richards just be wearing a Planet Hollywood shirt. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
My most Arnold moment was tough. I already said Sub-Zero, now Plane Zero.
Yeah, that is a good one.
But I think it's going to have to be, I hope you saved enough room for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach! Yeah, it would be that line. I think
That's a great line.
Running Man is a treasure trove of Arnold one-liners. So honestly, you could pick any one of those, but I think the ram my fist in your stomach and Sub-Zero, now Plane Zero are like the two
Yes.
S-tier Arnold lines from this film. So
Yeah.
those would be my biggest. Those are the thing I have. So what originally endeared this movie to me were those two lines. Like that.
Absolutely.
Like that level of absurd silliness is why I kept coming back to Running Man as a kid and a teenager and now as a fucking adult man. It's dialogue like that.
Right. And again, much like Ben Richards takes over the Running Man, Arnold Schwarzenegger takes over the Running Man in this film. Like, and it's so, these are very Arnold moments because they're so Arnold despite the movie he's in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, he really shouldn't be saying shit like that in this movie, but he is. And it's great. And we love it.
This movie it's almost like a companion piece to Commando.
Right.
And not just because with their powers combined, they're the Wonder Twins of Arnold one-liners. That's the greatest one-liners in those two movies. But they're also like self-parody almost. Like it's Commando much more intentionally. Like I think this was more of a symptom of Arnold being a superstar, and he's like genuinely flexing his superstar muscles a bit in this movie. But it also is just the tone of the entire film, and it's not just Arnold. Like the movie around him is very much not taking itself that seriously. For as serious a subject matter as it is, the movie is very tongue-in-cheek around him.
It really is.
So it's like Arnold at this point still I don't think has made a straightforward action movie at this point in his career yet. It's been Terminator and Predator and Conan and Commando. It's been these fucking weird ones.
Raw Deal, I guess, is the closest.
But has that come out yet, or does that come out after this?
No, we already covered Raw Deal.
That's right. We already covered Raw Deal. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, imagine going to a Schwarzenegger film in this era and being like, I have no idea what this is going to be. Because you sit down to watch Predator and you're like, holy shit. Then The Running Man, you're like, okay, I guess this will be serious. Nope, not serious at all. Absolutely out of its mind.
I feel like you would come at, if you were watching Arnold at this point, and of course I was, but I was a little kid, so I took everything at face value, because you do when you're a child. So I just took Commando and Running Man at face value. It's like, oh, he's glib because he's so fucking cool, and not because it's like hilarious. But I could imagine, like, if I was in like my 20s, going to see Arnold movies during the rise of Arnold's career, I might think of him as like a Ryan Reynolds type action hero, or like a Chris Pratt type action hero, where it's like he's kind of making fun of action movies.
We talked about that with, I think, Commando, where it's almost like,
or like a Channing Tatum
movie Snatch, like it or not Snatch, Crank, where it's like these movies are out of their minds in this self-aware way.
Yes.
What an amazing time for action.
Like, I think I might have thought of Arnold as like a comedic action star. Absolutely,
yeah. And even more so in the future.
Right, because he leans harder into it. As soon as he does his first, like, as soon as he does Twins.
We're a year away from Twins.
Yeah, he starts really leaning into it. And then, like, he does the Last Action Hero as like a deconstruction of a career that he's only really had for like 5 movies at that point.
I know.
It's so interesting to actually sit and look at the movies that he actually made during this period, separate from what his persona is. And it's like, wow, he really didn't make too many straightforward action movies.
No, they were all parodies of movies he never made.
Movies he didn't make. Yeah.
Yeah, it's extremely weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting into Red Heat, then Twins, then Total Recall, then Kindergarten Cop, then T2.
Right, so we're already playing with his image, like in Twins and not Total Recall. Twins and Kindergarten Cop are already playing with his image that he doesn't really have.
Yeah, we're getting into 90s Arnold, which 90s Arnold is getting into the cute, like you said, playing with his image.
Playing with his
Last
image.
Action Hero.
True Lies.
Junior. True Lies.
Jingle All the Way, yeah.
It's the meta stuff. That I don't know what it's meta of.
Right, like I'm sitting here thinking, and I think like the only 2 straightforward action movies that I can think of in this from the beginning of his career to like the mid 90s are Raw Deal. Raw Deal. Okay, so
I guess Red Heat.
Raw Deal, Red Heat, and Eraser.
Right.
And that's like 15 years of movies. Everything else is either a fucking buck wild genre movie or like actively a satire of action movies. Yeah. It's so fucking strange.
It's extremely strange.
Yeah.
And we love him for it.
He's the best, Dave.
Yeah. It's amazing era.
Yeah. What a time to be alive.
What a time. Should we get to the last section?
I think so.
Should we rate this? So as people know, between 1 and 97 Restless Hearts, where would you rank this one?
Oh, man.
It's hard. Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard. Oh, man. I'm gonna say 69 Restless Hearts, Dave.
69?
69
Ooh, that's
Restless
good.
Hearts. Although I wanted to say 99 Restless Hearts.
Ooh, yeah.
99 Restless Hearts go by, Dave. Because my heart is, as soon as this movie ends, like as soon as the end credits come up and Restless Hearts starts playing, my heart is immediately restless to start watching The Running Man again.
Absolutely. So wait, what do we want to do?
I'm gonna go with 99. I was gonna go with 69 because like it's like funny,
Yeah,
it's like
a
a
funny
joke.
number.
But I feel like I need to be sincere. I feel like I need to be genuine. So 99.
Okay.
99 Restless Hearts.
I was gonna say 97, but let's do 99. I'll write it down for our database. People following at home.
Yeah.
Let us know how we're doing with our ratings database of the Schwarzenegger films. Someone's keeping track, right?
Yeah, somebody is.
Yeah.
Not me, but somebody.
No, somebody's got to be. Man, I think that's it.
I think we covered it. I think we did it, Dave.
I think we covered the shit out of it.
We covered Running Man so fucking hard.
Yeah, Norm from Cheers, thank you so much, as always.
Always.
Always a blast. I don't know which one we're going to cover next. If we're skipping Red Heat, going straight to Twins, I'm not sure. But we're getting into the 90s soon. We're rolling in, and shit's about to get real.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched True Lies in a while, and I've been meaning to.
Oh,
and I think I'm gonna hold off until. I mean, I used to watch it regularly.
Yeah.
I know that movie by heart, but it's been like a couple years.
We'll talk about it. It's one of Arnold's most problematic films.
That's interesting.
It's very literally every brown person in it is a bad guy.
Oh yes. I would also argue the way he treats his wife, not great.
Not great, yeah.
But it's also like, man, James Cameron should have done more straight up action films.
Yeah, just like a goofball action comedy. It's an interesting conversation to have about True Lies because there's still a lot of stuff that's really fun about it, but it's also, boy, is it. I mean, it's kind of racist, and there's a little.
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about, and obviously there's some behind the scenes shit.
That'll be a fascinating.
Yeah, so it'll be an interesting conversation to have.
Yeah, because there's a lot to love, but you're right, it's deeply problematic.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be interesting. I'm trying to think of his other movies if there was any that bad. I don't know. We'll get around to it. Yeah. So I guess until then, we should tell people about our Patreon. We have a Patreon. That's how this was made. Patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. For just $5 a month, you get access to a bunch of podcasts exclusively on there, like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Spiel Boys, Star Trek The Next Futurama. For $10 a month, you can watch movies with us every Friday night. And yeah, there's also tiers where you can have custom podcasts made and custom We Just Watched episodes. So check all of that out on patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed.
Indeed.
Do it.
We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com. You can find a link to our Teespring store. We have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all kinds of things. So check that out.
Yep. And remember, when the world you knew got shattered, you and me was all that mattered.
Mm-hmm.
Just one way, I'm going to lose this restless heart running away with you.
Mm-hmm.
The end.
Australia